Okay. So the topic for this evening is a slight deviation, because normally I just give a one-word topic. But the topic for this evening is I went to a picnic and I brought. So we'll play that in a minute. And then, well, it's a variation, because some people say, I went to the shop and I bought. But it doesn't work so well for what I was going to talk about. So I went to a picnic and I brought. And then we'll take it from there, see where we go. But we should start with an exercise. So we'll start with our little sitting exercise and then take it from there. So maybe begin by opening the eyes and having a good look around. And as Zaza has already realised, the bulb's been changed at the bottom. So we now have a bulb.
I'm so mindful I am.
Well, we don't pass judgment.
Good.
We're just mindful of the fact that there is light there. And when you've had a look around, you may close your eyes and you may bring your awareness to what you can feel. So begin by being aware that you have a head resting on your neck, which in turn is connected to the shoulders. Be aware of any tension that you're holding there, and by becoming aware of it, just allow that tension to release. Release down through the shoulders and down through the arms, release down through the spine. Become aware of the spine, aware of how you're holding the spine. Aware of your bottom in contact with the seat. Backs of your legs in contact. Aware of that bend at the knees and down to the feet in contact with the floor. Become aware of the clothes against your skin. And become aware of the movement of air as it passes across your skin. And then smell. Become aware of smell in this moment. And aware of taste. Then finally we can start to listen. For the next few moments, just maintain the awareness on listening to sound, and if the mind wanders, just keep bringing the awareness back to sound. as your field of hearing extends, it's as if the field of your being also extends outwards. And as much as it's about you allowing sound in and receiving sound, you're also extending your being and connecting. Connecting with everything that's happening in the present moment. So is everybody familiar with the game? Does everybody know how it works? No? You never played it?
Is it the repeat one?
Yeah. So you start, it is, I went to a picnic and I brought, and then we go around and everybody says what they would bring to the picnic. But you have to remember what the people
Oh,
said.
like the 12 days of Christmas.
Kind of, yeah. So I might start and I would say, I went to a picnic and I brought a bottle of champagne.
Ooh, better bring some glasses in.
and then you go over and you would say, I went to a picnic and I brought a bottle of champagne and
some
and
glasses.
Some glasses.
Oh, glasses.
And then
Strawberries. Oh,
you have to see.
bottle of champagne, some glasses and some strawberries.
I went to the picnic and I
Yes.
brought. What was I going to do? I brought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, and some cream.
Some cream. I went to the picnic and I brought some champagne and some glasses, some strawberries and some cream, and some.
Hesitation.
You're allowed to hesitate. Just thinking what would go nicely with the strawberries and the cream in there. Some crisps.
I went to a picnic and I brought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, and some crisps, and some oranges.
Some oranges.
I went to the picnic and I bought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, some crisps, some oranges, and 12 dogs.
12 dogs. Where is this picnic?
The Glen.
On the beach, I think. I came to the picnic and I brought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, some oranges, some crisps, 12 dogs and a partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge and pear.
Wrong way
You
round.
mixed up then. You got the crisps and the oranges the wrong way round, Nick. But
Oh, I didn't
I'll
know,
forgive
didn't
you.
know I had to.
It's got to
Keep
be in
the order. It's
order.
got to be in order, but it's fine. It's a partridge in a pear tree, was it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I went to the picnic, and I brought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, some crisps, some oranges, 12 dogs, partridge, and a radio.
I forgot the pear
I
tree.
was about to say, was it in the pear tree? I picnic. I had a big bag. And I brought some champagne and some glasses and some strawberries and some cream and some crisps and some oranges, 12 dogs, partridge in a pear tree, a radio and a blanket.
Okay. I went to a picnic and I bought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, crisps and oranges, 12 dogs, partridge in a pear tree, radio, blanket, and AC/DC.
The whole of AC/DC.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Plus my dogs.
Good luck, Nick.
I came to the picnic and I took some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, some crisps, some oranges, 12 dogs, partridge in a pear tree, a radio, a blanket, some AC/DC and some Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Led Zeppelin is there as well. That's my kind of picnic. Right. See if I can remember all this now. So I went to the picnic and I brought some champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, some crisps, some oranges, 12 dogs, a partridge in a pear tree, a radio, a blanket, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, and what would they want? I can't see AC/DC drinking champagne and eating strawberries. I think they'd want a case of lager. But one more. If you can get through it, we'll finish it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Try it with your eyes closed.
I went to a picnic and I brought a bottle of champagne, some glasses, some strawberries, some cream, some oranges. I don't know, I can see better with my eyes.
I know. I was just thinking, because when I look at the people, it comes to me. Go on, anyway.
Where did I get to? Oranges. No, it should have been crisps before oranges.
It was crisps.
It was crisps before oranges,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I didn't do crisps. Let me start again. Okay, with my eyes open,
Which
so I
one?
can see what's
Sorry.
going on.
Sorry, I
Okay, champagne, glasses, strawberries, cream, crisps, oranges, 12 dogs, partridge in a pear tree, a radio,
Mm-hmm.
a blanket, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, a case of lager. Is that right?
Yeah. Well done. Go on, you finish off. What's the final thing that we're bringing to this picnic?
Some cheese.
Some cheese. Can't forget the cheese. Good. Okay. Now, there's two things really, I suppose, from that. From a mindful perspective. So the first one, on an entirely practical note, is it possible to play that game if you're not being mindful?
Absolutely not.
I would say not. If you're not listening,
Yeah.
if you're not
That's
engaged,
cool, yeah.
then you can't play the game. There was a moment there when I actually went off because I was thinking of something else relevant to this evening, but just for a moment I was sidetracked and I missed oranges. And it's only because it wasn't my turn that I was able to catch back up again. So in order to play a game like that, you have to be mindful, you have to be aware, you have to be listening, in order to be able to remember the objects and what's happening. So that's I suppose that's a slight aside. But what actually prompted me to, or reminded me of that game, was something I was reading in the week in a book. And whilst it's not a book specifically about mindfulness, a lot of what it talks about is about promoting mindfulness and being mindful.
Is this your funk?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. And one of the things that he said in the book was, what do you need to bring to the present moment? So I should have, that's what I should have said is, if we were to play that game again, but I started it by saying, I arrived in the present moment and I brought. What would I bring? What do I need to bring? In order to experience the present moment for all its glory, what do I need to bring with me?
Yourself.
Yourself.
Your attention.
My senses.
Do you need to bring anything at all?
No, that's the other thing.
Trick question, really.
You put it all to start with.
Because you don't. You don't have to bring anything. Everything that you need in order to experience the present moment is already here. Your awareness, your being.
But you've got to utilise
You have it.
some of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. But of course, what's the reality? What do we bring to the present moment? Many people, when they are not being particularly mindful, bring a hell of a lot more than champagne and glasses and strawberries and crisps and picnic blankets and AC/DC and Led Zeppelin. They bring a load of judgments, they bring a load of emotional baggage.
They bring their iPad, their iPhone.
Yes, they bring technology so that they feel connected with
They bring
the
fears.
outside. They bring their fears, they bring their beliefs, they bring their complaints, they bring a whole load of thoughts and ideas, exactly, bring a load
Your
of
opinions.
thinking, their opinions.
How dare they?
They bring their tiredness.
Their lack of enthusiasm.
Their children, the dogs.
Their noise.
Well, not so much their children and their dogs, but they bring the things that they feel they have to do for their children and their dogs, and the fact that they've got to pick up dog food on the way back from the present moment or back from home. Or they can't spend too long in the present moment because they've got to go and pick the kids up from archery class or wherever it is they are. I can't stay for long in the present moment because, time's ticking away and I've got to get back in the car because it's, I'm on taxi duty tonight. I've got to do this, got to do that, and then I've got to get to the shop, and then I've got to wake up in the morning and do it all over again.
And yet the hardest one not to bring is judgment, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, that's really
hard.
When we started playing this game, my first thought when it came around to me was like, oh shit, I'm going to be crap at this. And then, I already made a judgment.
You made a judgment,
and I was totally wrong. Because I kept up, you know what I mean? Even though I'm knackered, but there you go.
Yeah, but that's it. You made a judgment about yourself.
Yeah.
You may even have made a judgment about what a stupid idea it was. Why is Jim making us do this? but nothing wrong with that. But we do. Judgments are the hardest thing, and the older we get, the more judgmental we become. And some of it, I suppose, some of it is part of our primal makeup, in that our brain is always looking for ways to make shortcuts, so that we don't have to sit and think about something too much. We can just delve into whatever pot it is that we store our thoughts and beliefs and ideas and judgments, and then just grab the one that seems to be the most appropriate. So we can just throw that out there. I understand this situation. I can make a judgment about what's going on based upon previous experience or my personal beliefs or, you know, just some skewed idea I have about, you know, how things should be, you know, or we make judgments because things are not the way we would like them to be.
Yeah. And we need to be right, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we make a judgment about, yeah, this situation is wrong because I'm right for whatever reason. And so, yeah, all those things that we mentioned that we bring to the present moment, which obscure and cloud and make it difficult for us to be aware of the present moment, but in particular are our judgments, are just that. They just obscure it and make it so much more difficult to experience the pleasant moment,
In the
the pleasance of the present moment. That's a good little Freudian slip, man. Pleasant moment. So I guess the question is how to avoid doing that. You know, how do we prevent ourselves from arriving in the present moment?
Can you say it again?
How do we prevent ourselves from arriving in the present moment? And when I say arriving, I just mean, you know, bringing your awareness to the present, because you're always in it. You don't have to, you know, there's no journey to get there. You're always in it. But it's your awareness has to make a journey sometimes, because if our awareness isn't there, you have to bring it from wherever it is, and it's usually, our awareness is usually somewhere in there being sidetracked by stupid thoughts and judgments.
And also, another thing with that is that you, even with the best intentions, think, right, today I'm not going to judge a single thing at all. And so you go about your day and you think, I'm just going to avoid everyone.
Yeah, because it's mostly people that make judgments.
That way I'll be able to stay on track, and once I get myself going, then hopefully I'll be able to break any situations before they get, you know, before that judgment comes in. But one of the things when I say about other people is that you can start off with all the best intentions and think, right, deep breaths, and if somebody says, oh, did you see that so-and-so did this and they didn't pick up that, whatever, and you think, right, now do you entertain that, or do you just, well, I'll see you later, bye? You know, how do you go about that? Because you don't want somebody to offload their baggage and put it onto you as well.
There's ways you can do that, isn't there? You just say, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So you can just come, is that one? You just don't agree to it, you don't disagree with it, you go, I can see what you're saying, something like that, and they go, they get their ego gets the answer that it needs, and you haven't entertained it.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Some of it is about some of it is about giving them your awareness. In that situation, you just show that you're aware and that you're listening, and you don't have to pass judgment.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with them or not, because that's just a judgment.
Don't you think? Don't you think?
Yeah.
What do you do? Don't you think? Don't you think?
You say no, I don't think.
Yes, but not
Don't
at the
you
moment.
think? Don't you think it's out of order? Don't you
I totally
think?
understand what you're saying.
I understand.
Yeah, it is. I understand what you're saying.
I can hear you.
That's I can hear you.
But they're good answers,
Yeah.
because they're kind of mindful answers.
Yeah.
I hear you.
They're saying, I'm not going to judge you or pass judgment on what you're saying. I'm just going to be aware of what it is you're saying and be aware of you.
Yeah, because
That's all that's required.
in that situation, if you try and deflect it onto something else, they can't be like, well, hang on a minute, well,
You're
that was my
not
issue,
listening.
Yeah.
So come back to my issue.
They're hanging on to it.
But if
They
you're
won't
like-
let go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to like give them some ear space, haven't you? You've got to say, you've got to give them some feedback in some way.
But often people want you to pick up
Their vibe and
whatever
engage.
attack, allow them to attach onto you whatever it is that's frustrating them.
Yeah.
But even just walking down the street without even communicating with people, you can sort of make judgments on people constantly. As in, like people that, you could tell a whole story about someone by You know, and
like if they're walking down looking at thunder, you think, God, miserable.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Or you
Some
know,
people you
not
meet
the
for the
brightest
first
star.
time and they're like miles away, but you still hate them. I don't get that. You're like, I don't like that person. I don't know why I don't like him.
There's this thing where we're supposed to be connected, so the challenge is.
But there was a really nice illustration. There was a really nice illustration in this book, and it was talking about thoughts and ideas, and the fact that it's impossible not to think. Our brain does it all the time. Even hearing a sound, you have a thought connected to the hearing of that sound. Even if you have got to a pretty high level where you're not necessarily attaching a label to it, there's still a thought, that an idea that exists when a sound happens. And it was saying that the human brain has something like 500,000. It was either 200,000 or 500,000. I don't think it particularly matters what the number is, of thoughts every single day. Because it just is constant. It just happens. And it says that, it was saying that it's almost impossible to switch that off. You can for a moment, you can suspend it for periods of time. But the brain just does it, just generates this stuff all the time, thousands of them.
I mean, when you sleep and you dream, you
that's
dream,
it, exactly.
so it's doing something, isn't it?
And he was also he also talked about positive thinking. People try to just have positive thoughts, but if you have 500,000 thoughts a day, there's going to be a pretty high percentage which would fall into the negative thoughts bracket. Even if you are generally a very extremely positive person, you're not going to have 500,000 positive thoughts.
Try and nip them in.
And so it's almost pointless to. It would take so much effort and energy to eradicate such a huge quantity of thoughts and ideas that it really you would just waste so much time and energy doing that. Certainly it would affect your ability to be aware of the present moment and to enjoy being alive in this moment. But the image that was painted in this book, now I don't know if it's one that the author had developed himself or whether he borrowed it from elsewhere, and I thought it was particularly appropriate. But if you imagine that the mind is like the sky, thoughts and ideas are just like the birds that fly through it. So there's the sky, that is our mind, and a thought or an idea may pass across the sky. It might just be one. It might be a whole flock of ideas. But that's all they are. The mind doesn't necessarily have, the sky doesn't have control over the birds. It doesn't dictate when they fly, which direction they fly, merely that they just fly across. And us, ourselves, the real us, that is that pure awareness. Because as we know, we are not our thoughts, because they are just birds in the sky. We are not our emotions. We are not even our body. The true core of your being is just that awareness. Is like the observer looking up at the sky and seeing those birds fly across, seeing those ideas as they pass through the sky, seeing those ideas as they pass through the mind as if they were just birds. And you can extend the image further. It doesn't matter whether some may be pigeons, some may be golden eagles. Some may be, little tiny flock of sparrows. It doesn't matter. But in order for us to disconnect and just accept them for what they are, we just see them. Our awareness is that observer, just seeing these things flying through the sky that is our mind, and just being aware of them and knowing that they don't define us. They are not us. They're just this natural phenomenon. Yeah, exactly. That's it. You can't try and catch them. You couldn't put up a net and try and catch them all as they fly across.
Well, sometimes you need to, don't you? Maybe not when you're being mindful, but when, for example, in your work, you have ideas and thoughts, and you've got to create a plan of how you're going to do something, and you have to harness the.
You do. You do.
Yeah.
You have to. Yes. You have to allow them to develop, and you have to be. You just have to be aware of them.
But if there's that many, that's the.
But that's. Yeah, but then ultimately you let it go. If you're developing something like that for a practical purpose, because that's what the book's about. Really, the book is about using your mind when it's appropriate, because that capacity to generate those thoughts and ideas, it's an incredibly. Humans are incredibly creative, incredibly resourceful, incredibly inventive, and all of that can be put to good use. The brain is a phenomenal thing in its ability to solve problems and do all of that good stuff. But what they're saying is, you don't allow your mind to control you. You allow your awareness to be in control of it, to utilise it when it's appropriate. So if there are negative thoughts flying through your mind, just be aware of them and just let them go, because they will. That's the thing about it. They will. They'll only stick around.
It's a little packet of energy and it disappears.
Yeah, they'll only stick around if you try and hold on to them.
Yeah.
If you do capture them and try and hold on to them. If you don't, if you say, well, they are what they are, and they're just flying freely through the space of my mind, then you can let go of them. If you need to use your mind to do something constructive, then you can. But ultimately, you have to record it in some way as well, don't you? You can't just sit there and come up with a solution.
That's right.
And keep it in there.
Yeah. Well, they say that because the brain hasn't got a pencil in it.
No. So then that's when you write it down. And if you created a plan, you write it down, or you put it into a stupid project management.
Microsoft project.
Because there's two forms of thought with meditation, isn't there? There's that kind of just says, you've got to quiet and not quiet. I think it's I'm not done transcendental meditation. But that's the one where you just let the thoughts be and you don't fight them to try and clear your mind. You just let them come. It's all about just quietening it down so that you can hear yourself, your true self. But the other school of thought is you have to fight them almost to
I don't agree with that. I think there's.
Well, I just think it's impossible. It's anything's possible, but
I think no matter whatever you do, thoughts are going to enter your mind.
That's the exact.
It's like that John Bratz into it's just like linking waves, isn't it? And the tides, they come and they go as a matter of nature. Just let them come in and let them go. Don't shit, I should be concentrating, or my mind should be clear.
I know, and I spent a while years ago I thought that's what you had to do. You had to try and fight against having loads of thoughts, and it just was a.
I do think the more you do it, the less thoughts you get.
Yeah. Well, they quiet them, I think.
You just don't get them. I can sit there for quite a while without having any thoughts.
Yeah. Right.
And I know that some people think that's odd. They think, well, you must be bored of something. And it's like, no, I haven't. I didn't think of anything. I can just, but
And then are you doing something, or are you actually meditating at the time?
I'm just sitting there.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, I might be looking at a tree.
Okay.
I might just be looking at the tree, but not not doing anything in particular. But it's...
I think it's whatever's appropriate in that moment.
Yeah.
Because you can. I do. I'll sit and I'll just breathe, and just keep breathing. My mind will go off. Thoughts and ideas will come in, because they do, and I'll just bring it back to the breath and just focus on the breath, just being with my breath in this moment. Because then you get that stillness, and the noise dissipates a little. But then you equally you can go down the other route, and it's equally as valid an activity, because the goal of that kind of exercise is not to allow your mind to run riot and for it to take control of you. It's for you to be that observer looking up at the sky and observing and being aware of the thoughts and ideas as they fly through, and just observing them as they happen in that moment. Because then you can become quite enlightened by that. Because that's when a lot of those all that baggage that we talked about, people bringing to the present moment, an exercise like that is when you can really become aware of it. Because you say, okay, I'm in this moment, I'm mindful, let's see what comes
flies
up,
by.
what flies by.
Yeah.
And we've done it in the group on occasion. I'll say, be aware if your mind does wander, be aware of where it's wandered to. Don't just think, oh, it's gone, bring it back. But also think, oh, well, actually, I'm thinking about X, Y, and Z.
Make a mental note.
But this is the weird thing. Why is it certain things just suddenly appear out of nowhere as well?
Yeah, they do. Because
sometimes,
I think there's lots of triggers. There's something triggers.
Because often they are a reflection of the judgments or the fears or those elements that are happening in here, which are the blockage to being able to just be in the present moment. When I do hypnotherapy with people, a lot of it is just about removing those barriers. There's a barrier there that prevents people from being able to be the way that they want to be. Because there's another thing that came out from my reading recently, and that was, if you ask somebody, we'll do it. If you could be any way that you would like to be, if there were particular qualities that you would like to have, what would they be? Anything at all.
Particular qualities. Speak to animals.
You'd like to be able to be, okay. Anything else?
Be able to learn anything I want, like that.
Right.
And retain it.
Okay. Well, you already are that person.
Oh.
No, you are. No, you are. Some people may say, oh, well, I would like to be more patient. I would like to be a better communicator. Or I'd like to be a good communicator. I'd like to be more patient. I'd like to be, a loving person. They are already that person. The fact, even they may feel that they lack those qualities, but they don't. The reality, because they've identified those, because they already exist inside themselves.
Oh, that's
but
really quite nice.
all that happens is there is something that is preventing you from realising that. Those things that I said, they're things for me. I'd like to be a patient person, a good communicator, a loving person, and probably I am those things. I know I have the capacity to be patient. I have the capacity to communicate and talk to people and do it quite well. I have the capacity to be loving, to show love to people. The fact that I would like to be able to do it better and do it more indicates that there's perhaps something that prevents me from doing that. And that's all it is. There's just something that is a barrier.
We're all our worst critic.
We are, yeah, we are. And so that criticism can be a barrier. There are all kinds of things that act as a barrier that prevent people from doing that.
To ourselves is a big barrier, isn't it?
That's it. And a lot of those things are either fears, beliefs, judgments, all of those things that we carry around with us that prevent us from being present in this moment. You know, it's not always that simple. You know, sometimes it comes from, you know, events that happened in childhood, the emotional scarring that maybe happened there that acts as a barrier. You know, often people will come for therapy because they want to lose weight. I say weight control because people don't like to lose things. They just want to take control of it. But for whatever reason, you know, and so if I were to say to them, what kind of person would you like to be? They'll say, well, I want to be a thinner person. But I want to be in control of my eating. I want to be in control of my weight. They already are that. They already have the capacity to do that. But for whatever reason, they're not able to exercise that. You know, for whatever emotional reason. Often it's boredom. You know, there's just something that's unfulfilled in them and they're bored. So that's when they reach for the crisps and the chocolate and the bottle of red wine every night. So yes, we all have the capacity to be the way that we would like to be, but there are just things that prevent it and block it. And we all have the capacity to absolutely be in the present moment and experience being alive in this present moment. But there are things that block us from doing that, prevent us from that. They are the champagne, the glasses, the picnic blanket, and all the crisps, the apples. No, we didn't have any apples. We had cheese and oranges and Led Zeppelin and ACD and all those things that we bring with us.
So the next question is, how do you remove them factors?
By practicing
Mindfulness.
the things that we do in the group, by breathing,
I've recently
engaging our senses.
I can't remember where I read it, but one of these mindful exercises that you can do. Sometimes I'm sitting on a beach, and if I'm having sort of a bit of, you know, bit of fuzzy head. If I put, because it's actually, I've always wondered why people do it, but I've started to do it myself. If you try and balance stones, you can just be completely concentrated on that you forget about everything else.
Yeah.
And I found that if I'm having times where I'm actually not able to sort of clear my mind and just get nice and calm, so I can go back and read and study and what have you, if I do that, it's really, really helps.
Yeah, because it's a mindful activity. You have to be, to balance something, you've got to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And you've got to be aware. And what's nice about things like that is the awareness is almost an unconscious thing as well, isn't it? When you don't, if you're trying to balance a stone on a point, you can't think left a bit, right a bit, that way. You just feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And not think about it. But in the time it takes for your brain to go left a bit, and then for that message to then come down to the arms and go left a bit, you've lost it.
Yeah.
Something else. It just has to be an instinctive level of awareness that enables you to do it. And so, yeah, an exercise like that is a very good approach to being mindful. As long as you're aware that that's what it is that you're doing, and not think of it as just as some form of escapism. You know, there's nothing. It may seem like a pointless exercise. Oh, I've just gone down the beach and balanced some stones. People go, well, what are you wasting your time doing that for? But you know, it's not a waste of time if you're being mindful. You know, if you're thinking, it doesn't matter what activity you're doing. If you're engaged in it and you're aware and you're in the present moment, it doesn't matter. just, as long as you don't think of it as an escape, you just use it as an opportunity to be in the moment, doing something with your body, being alive. Balancing some stones is good. It's good. Okay, let's breathe. Because that's the route. That's the route in to just allowing the birds to fly and letting them get on with whatever they want to do. And leaving your baggage in the car. Okay, so just bring the awareness to the nostrils and the breath entering and leaving the body. Because that's what this is. This is just balancing stones. It may seem like a pointless activity to just be aware of the breath for a few moments. But people take it for granted. I'm breathing all the time. Why do I need to be aware of it? Well, because it enables you to just be in the moment. Move the awareness back to the back of the throat, aware of the breath in the neck. And then down further still to the chest, and aware of the movement of the chest as you breathe. Down to the very base of the breath, at the diaphragm. And just for the next few moments, follow those three elements. Breathing in, breathing out, then the pause between the breath. Bringing the mind back if it wanders. Allowing the mind and the body to be still in that pause. Thank you.